So big things for Core Keeper are here. We have a brand new update that just dropped today. So everything I'm going to cover in this video, you now have access to today. So this is the patch notes 0.3.12. I'm going to go over a few of these things, and we're also going to jump back and forth between the notes and the gameplay so I can kind of explain how all this works. Now, if you've been following Core Keeper over the past couple weeks, you know that we had an experimental version, an experimental branch of the game that allow us to try and test out different features that the devs want to bring to the game, but they are just unsure of right now. Well, a lot of those things and fixes got sent to the full version of the game so you can try them out today. So starting off at the top, we have dedicated servers are now available. So if you would like to play with your friends or other randoms, whatever you want to do, you can actually host your own server now, which I do plan on doing. So if you have not subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe because I will have my own server. And what this will allow us to do is even when I'm not online, you guys will still be able to play on the server and interact with everyone on there. And I don't even have to be there. So that is really nice that we have that in the official version of the game now. Down here it says that the game is moving over to a new backend that we have been using on the experimental branch, and it is proving better overall. So this is just the game's going to run a lot better for you. So that's really nice. Now onto the really great stuff. We have the repair system has been reverted back to using scrap parts as a result of working together and gathering feedback from our community. A lot of people were outraged about they switched it from just scrap parts to repairing, how to use take different multiple items and stuff like that. So whenever you had to go repair or you brought a bench with you, you had to have so many different types of materials to repair your armor that you're using. Now you just have to carry a stack of one thing, which is scrap parts. It says these can be gained through salvaging again. The current materials gained from salvaging are still gained as well, and the bearded merchant now also sells scrap parts instead of wood. So let's head over there right now and take a look at the bearded merchant, see how much he actually sells these for, and see if it's worth the purchase there. So he has a inventory of 500 at any given time, and one piece of scrap part will cost you 5 ancient coins. So that's not too bad. I mean, if you have 100 ancient coins, you're going to get a handful of scrap parts. So that's really nice. Now let's take a look at the price of this. So a wooden shovel, if I were to click repair and hover over it, it's going to cost you 1 scrap part. So if I use these more high-end armor, which is these Ivy's pants, if I click on it, go to repair, it's going to cost 9 scrap parts. So that is a good amount of scrap parts just to repair my these pants one time. And then the iron helmet is going to be 5 scrap parts. So the best way to get scrap parts, you could find them out there in the wild, but it's not that efficient. You're going to want to salvage your extra stuff. So like this wooden shovel, if I hit salvage, boom, it gave me 2 pieces of wood and 1 scrap part. So I have 2 scrap parts in my inventory now. And then if you salvage other random items, like maybe you have too many of these melting crystal rings, hit salvage, and it also gave me a scrap part. It gave me some slime and 2 copper bars. So make sure you are bringing your items over here to the salvage and repair bench, salvaging it so you get these repair parts. That way you can then repair your armor. So that's how that works. Let's head back over to the patch notes and see what else we have. So the next big thing is the reinforcement mechanic has been added that allows players to extend the durability of the items as well as giving the item a small stat boost. Reinforcing an item costs some of the item's crafting materials. Now I do have a separate video on this, but I will quickly go over it. If you head over to the same bench and say I want to take the poisonous sickle, I can click the reinforcement. And then down there we have the reinforcement cost is 4 scarlet bars and 2 scrap parts. I have that on me, so it's going to give me a buff of all those stats on the right there. So my melee is going to go up 29. My critical hit damage is going to go up 3%, and I get an additional 4% added to a chance to apply poison. So I'm going to hit that. Boom. My item has now been reinforced. So my poisonous sickle has these extra stats on it, and it also doubled my durability for it. So it was at 500, now it is at 1000, and I gained this little purple bar above the normal durability. But the more I use this, that reinforcement will go down, so I'll have to come over to the bench and reinforce it, or yeah, you can reinforce it and that'll also repair the durability. So you can do this to multiple items in the game. I don't think you can do it to the ancient pickaxe. Oh, okay, you can. I don't think you were able to do that in the experimental branch version. So that'll take the durability up to 1600, give you an extra 53 mining, and it's only 3 scarlet bars and 1 scrap part. So big stuff here. The rune song, yep, you still cannot put it in the bench. So reinforce everything. You can also reinforce your armor, and that will give me extra health, and it's 9 scrap parts and 4 scarlet bars. So pretty expensive, but totally worth it. I recommend reinforcing everything that you have. Moving on, it says scrap parts that can drop from destructibles in some enemies. So when you kill an enemy, you might have a chance of getting one of those parts, but salvaging is still going to be your best way of obtaining those. Now, higher tier hoes now cover a larger area. This works for tilling and gardening plants in larger areas. Hopping back over here, I'm going to craft a hoe really quick. If you head up here to the scarlet workbench, you can actually craft a scarlet shovel now, and we have a scarlet hoe. So I'm going to craft the scarlet hoe. I have it in my hotbar. I'm going to head down here and we're going to see how much of the ground we can actually hoe now that they've increased it. So it has been increased to 9 spots. So I can harvest up all of these, like 9 different spots in my garden now, as opposed to before we had to hit every single item. Now gardening is so much faster and you still get the increased amount of experience whenever you dig it up. So that is really awesome. You can also hoe the ground, and this is just going to make it so much easier to actually be able to farm and grow your crops and increase your gardening skill. So if you haven't worked on your gardening skill, now is the time to do it, because the game just got so much easier and I'm really excited to see that. Up next, we have added a digging damage stat to shovels that impact how many uses it takes to dig up the ground. Health of ground has been rebalanced around digging damage of shovels. So the way this works is you can come up here and craft a scarlet shovel or an iron shovel, and they have different damage. So the iron shovel has plus 60 digging damage, while over here at the scarlet workbench, the scarlet shovel has plus 80. So it's an extra 20 digging damage. So the higher your digging damage is, the less hits it takes is required to dig up the ground. So for example, I could use the scarlet shovel and dig up the mold ground in the mold biome, but if I use the wooden one or even the tin shovel that's right here, I might not be able to actually do that. So the tin shovel I have is only plus 40 digging damage. If I were to use it on something regular, let's try, I'm just going to dig this up. So a normal dirt, it's going to be 1 and 2. Using the scarlet shovel, I'm going to be able to instantly hit that. Now, one thing to keep in mind, if you come over here to the workbench, you can actually reinforce that tin shovel, and it's going to increase the amount of digging damage it does. So the tin shovel will give me an additional 6 digging damage if I reinforce it. So I do recommend, if you get to the point you're in late game, craft the scarlet shovel and reinforce it, and you'll be able to dig up the mold ground. Back to the notes, we already went over the scarlet hoe can be crafted at the scarlet workbench, as well as the scarlet shovel. And then we have the large watering can now covers 2x2 tiles. More watering options coming later, so gardening is going to get much easier. Let's see if I have a watering can laying around. So I got my iron watering can. I'm going to get some water here. And now I can actually water sections of 4 now. So instead of just doing one single item for like all of these, I don't have to water every single one. I can now just start and water 4 at a time. And this, along with the hoe, is going to make the gardening in this game so much more enjoyable and relaxing and not as stressful. It's also, it was like really tedious before, and a lot of people were just kind of discouraged from actually doing a lot of farming and stuff. So this is a lot better, and they did say they're going to add more options later on in the game. So that is really wonderful. And last but not least, we have fishing rods that no longer have durability. I didn't really have an issue with that, but it's nice that we don't have to worry about that. And then the chance to gain kelp from fishing has been reduced, and we've added resources such as ores, wood, fiber, and scrap parts that can be gained from fishing. And then down here, we just have some quality of life things and balancing improvements. The rune song got a slight increase in damage. The bosses got an increase in max health, and then Azios Enraged is a bit higher health percentage. I don't quite remember what the stats on the rune song was, but this is now the current stats of the rune song. And if you haven't gotten this weapon, I definitely recommend it because for one, it's really good. Two, it has a no durability, so you don't ever have to repair it. And that's about it for this update, guys. I hope you really enjoyed it. I do have another video I'm uploading that's going to talk about the next DLC, the Sunken Sea biome, that's actually releasing here in a couple months, and we just got some new info for it. So be sure to check that video. I will link it in the comment section below. Anyways, that's it for the video. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you all in the next one.